Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Hoi Polloi, It's Time for Lunch. On today's menu are Loukoumades, a kind of small honey-coated donut originating from ancient Greece. I chose this recipe for a few reasons. First of all, it's from Greece instead of Rome, and we all know that Greek is better than Latin. Also, this guy, Callimachus, wrote that honey tokens, or Loukoumades, were served to the winners of the very first Olympic Games all the way back in 776 BCE. With the modern Olympics occurring this summer, I thought that made this recipe pretty timely. Also, I just love a good donut. That being said, here are the ingredients you will need. First, 4 cups of flour, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 cups of lukewarm water, 1 cup of milk, 4½ teaspoons or 2 packets of yeast, yogurt of the Greek variety, of course, and then for the sauce you'll want honey and also a little bit more water. Finally, for the frying, you'll need lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of oil. And now it's time to make the dough. The first step, as it is, I think, with most doughs, is to let all your yeast dissolve in that lukewarm water. I had a big plan to do like a time lapse here because I thought it would be fun to see the yeast grow and do whatever it is yeast does, but I ended up getting bored and mixing it, so it didn't end up looking very good. So what we're going to do is just cut straight to the next step, which is pour all of the ingredients into a bowl and mix them together. Yes, it's very, very complicated and very difficult, and only the best chef could pull something like this off. In fact, speaking of my prowess in the kitchen, I did want to take this opportunity to share with you guys one of my secrets to success when you're cooking, and that is to add a couple spoonfuls of yogurt to just about everything you make. I'm talking brownies, pancakes, banana bread, this recipe. It doesn't always make a difference. It definitely didn't make a difference in this recipe because it was 2 spoonfuls of yogurt compared to the extremely vast quantity of all the other ingredients. But it made me feel good, and I think a lot of times that's all that really matters. Anyway, once all the ingredients are poured into the bowl, you just mix them together. We're going for a pancake-like consistency with this batter, so I did end up adding a little bit more flour because no one likes a runny pancake. And as you can see, my bowl, once again, as is becoming a tradition on this show, is definitely too small for the job, especially when you consider that this dough needs to rise. So I do end up switching it out, finding the biggest bowl I could find, and pouring the dough in there. And once it's all in there, I'm just going to cover it with plastic wrap and set it aside. And now it's time for the sauce. This is even easier than the dough. All you do is pour your honey and a 1/4 cup of water into a pan, and then when you're ready, you can heat that up and drizzle it over your finished donuts. My one tip here would be to just put the honey straight into the pan instead of pouring it into multiple different containers and getting it stuck on all kinds of things and then ultimately ending up with less honey than you ideally would have. But we're going to set that aside for now too because it's time to fry. This is the exciting part, folks, and it's easier than you might think if you've never fried something before. All you want to do is pour all that oil into a great big pot, and then make sure you turn on the stove because the oil does need to be hot for this, speaking of kitchen tips. And I saw online that one way to know whether oil was ready to fry something was to put a wooden spoon in it, and if bubbles form around the edges of the spoon, that means you're ready to go. As you can see, that did not happen, but I decided that I didn't want to wait anymore and I was ready to go anyway. So I'm just going to go right ahead and start scooping up my dough. This is really easy and fun. You just dip your little spoon in some extra oil so the dough doesn't stick, scoop up a nice little portion of dough, and you plop it right into the oil, just like that. There she goes. And you just keep doing that over and over and over again until you feel like you have, until you feel like you have enough little balls of dough floating on the top of your oil. You probably don't want it to be too crowded in there, but I don't think it really matters too much. And then once they're all in there, you just let them hang out, and you're going to wait until they get a really nice, beautiful golden brown color. While those are frying, I have a confession to make. At the beginning of this video, I said that Loukoumades were given to the winners of the first Olympic Games in 776 BCE. That does not appear to be true. Although there are literally thousands of articles online that cite Callimachus as their source for this fact, I could not, despite hours of searching, find the original text in which he is supposed to have made that claim. In fact, the most ancient source I could find was this Washington Post article from 1995. Fortunately, there is plenty of other evidence that the combination of fried dough and honey was a frequent one in the ancient world. The problem is that that's a lot less flashy than saying that the first Olympians enjoyed eating these specific donuts, which is why I've buried this fact towards the end of this video, when YouTube statistics tell me that most of you will have stopped watching. Let this be a lesson to you, as it was to me, to never trust just anyone who comes up with a Greek-sounding name to substantiate their fun-sounding fact without first doing a little research of your own. So you just let them cook on one side until they become a beautiful golden brown color, just like that, and then you let them cook for a while on the other side. While we're waiting for that to happen, enjoy this fun fact about my heritage. And once they're evenly cooked, you can go ahead and scoop them out and set them somewhere where they can cool off. Now it's time to take a look at the results. I think they came out pretty great. Something that I think is really fun about these is that they come out in all different shapes, and it's sort of fun to look at them and see what non-donut objects they may look like. For example, this one looks like a goose. This one looks like a fox who doesn't have a tail, unfortunately. This one looks like Judy from Twin Peaks. This one looks like those funny kinds of helmets with the spike on the top. And this one, of course, depending on how you look at it, is either a cow or a dragon. And now the final and most important step is to put all the toppings on. So first I poured on the sauce, and then here I'm sprinkling on some cinnamon, and lastly some sesame seeds, just for a little sparkle, I guess. And there they are. I think that these came out really good. They were much nicer to eat than the pesto from last week, and I really have to say they made me feel like I had just completed an athletic feat of some kind. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.